Right now I'm cooking sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes are something that I've tried cooking several different ways since I started meal prepping a few years ago, and this way that I'm cooking them that I'm showing you right now, I'm actually baking them in the oven. And at one time I wrapped them in foil and just kind of poked them with a fork like I would a regular baked potato. But I have discovered that if I don't wrap them in foil and I just make a little slit in the top of them, and just don't put them in anything, just put them in some kind of a container. Like today I'm going to put them in this baking dish. Then they don't leak out into the oven. So I'm not wrapping them in anything. I'm just putting them in this baking dish, and I'm going to bake them in the oven for at least an hour, but sometimes it's closer to an hour and a half. And I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. So I have already washed my potatoes, and I'm just going to take a knife and I'm going to make a little slit right in the top. I've got 3 here that I'm cooking today. And then I'm just going to put them in this dish so they don't leak out and make my oven a mess. So I have my oven set on 450, and I've got my potatoes in the baking dish here. I've got the little slit made in the top of each one. And so now I'm just going to put them in the oven and bake them for 1 hour. So while those are cooking, let's talk for a minute about seasoning. I don't use any seasoning on sweet potatoes. I don't use any butter or brown sugar or marshmallows or anything like that. It's all about keeping your food as simple and clean as you can. And sweet potatoes are so good without anything. I'm not sure why anyone really just has to have anything else on them. They taste sweet by themselves. Especially when they're baked in this way where I put that slit in the top. It gives them a little bit of a better, sweeter taste when I make them that way. So I found. And I think you're really going to like them like that. I don't think you're going to need to add anything to them. So that's a definite plus. I love sweet potatoes. So the sweet potatoes have been baking for an hour, and you can see that they're kind of bubbling out the top, and that is what we want. But I'm just going to actually squeeze it a little bit. And it is pretty soft, but I want it to be a little bit softer. I like mine to be pretty soft so I can mash them up if I want to. So we're going to bake for a little bit longer. So I've let them bake for 10 more minutes, and I'm going to just check them again and see where we are. Alright, now they are about the softness that I want them to be, so I'm going to go ahead and take them out. So that means that I ended up baking them for an hour and 8 minutes. And they look perfect. While my sweet potatoes that I just baked in the oven are cooling, I like to let them be completely cool before I take the skin off and cut them to portion them out for my meals. But we also like sweet potato fries around my house, and so right now I'm going to tell you how we do those as well. So you can sometimes buy sweet potato fries at the grocery store. You want to stay away from the kind that are in the freezer section usually, because more than likely those are going to have some kind of seasoning already on them or some kind of a batter. They are really good, but they're not necessarily healthy. So you want to get some that are where the only ingredient on the ingredients list is sweet potatoes. You don't want the ingredients list to say anything besides sweet potatoes. So if you can't find them at your store like that, you can make your own. I've done it both ways. So I actually have a little potato slicer, like a potato fry maker that I use sometimes, and I just go ahead and make my own. So here's what they look like. They're just fries, and I take about a tablespoon of olive oil and drizzle over the top of them, and then I go ahead and sprinkle on some sea salt and some pepper and just kind of toss them to make sure that they're all coated in the olive oil, the sea salt, and the pepper. And then I'm going to bake these on 450 just like I did the regular sweet potatoes. So I'm going to bake them for 12 minutes on 450, and then I'm going to take a spatula and flip them, and then I'm going to bake them for another 12 minutes, and then they're going to be done, and they are really good. So here is what my sweet potato fries look like. They are coated in olive oil, and they are seasoned with sea salt and pepper. They're actually not focusing very well, but you get the idea. So I've got my potatoes cooling here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put these in the oven now. So my sweet potatoes that I baked are finished cooling, and I am just going to take them and cut the little pointy ends off. They're actually still a little bit hot, but that's okay. So I'm just going to peel them. The peeling comes off really easily when you bake them like this. And then after I get them peeled, I'm going to go ahead and cut them and weigh them out for meal prep. For this particular meal that I'm prepping right now, it's going to be sweet potatoes and green beans and a hamburger patty. And so I'm wanting to get 4 ounces of the sweet potatoes. So I've got my food scale here, and I'm just going to turn it on. And I want it set 4 ounces, which it is, as you can see. So I've got these already cut up a little bit, so I'm just going to take one, and I really don't know how much I've got here, so I'm going to put it on the scale. It's 3.2. I need to get a little bit more. I'm just going to cut a little bit more over here. Grab it. And let's see here, 3.9. I like to be exact. I know that seems a little OCD, but that's just how I roll. So I've got my 4 ounces. Now all I have to do is add my green beans and my hamburger to it, and I'll be good to go for the week.